And Felix said, Simon, which is one of the best interpreters. He was the young man that I've raised. He was the one that slept underneath the ground. God has used him in just a tremendous way. He's become he's a spiritual son. He come up and interpreted, and it was just, Brother Andrew but our interpretation, especially with me, we don't miss nothing. Now, it's not like that everywhere I go. I'm sure when I go to South Africa this year, it'll be a little bit more different. But I don't lose nothing in the interpretation with them. In fact, like I said, when I get with the right preacher, Brother Andrew or Simon, I let them. I'm not scared to let them. I wouldn't do that with everybody, but they add. Together we are preaching the message. I'm leading it. Well, the Holy Ghost is leading it. It's coming out of my mouth. And then they're just adding to it. Somebody else had a question? No.
Now?
Yep.
Okay. So now I have a list.
Okay.
So you started out earlier saying that you were just a bus driver and all that, and it just amazes you how far you've come.
Yep.
And all that. And, I mean, they were just fishermen. And look how far they went.
I never thought about that. You're right.
My thoughts about Juddy, I mean, he's just got a remarkable testimony as far as it goes anyway. But I don't know Africa, but me guessing would think that the men who are preachers in Africa don't generally stand up and talk about their family life and the things that happen to them and
Most preachers, period, they want to preach theological things.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with preaching theological things, but I think sometimes people need to relate to everyday
things, and it makes a connection. So I'm sure that would have been great for them. I'm sure they like that. I wondered about when you were doing the baptizing, if you had to worry about crocodiles or anything like that in the water.
Not crocs. There was other stuff.
Oh, yeah, like what?
They have snakes.
Ooh, okay. Oh.
Yeah, they have. It wasn't a question. I baptized in 2 different places. The places on the island, it's just beautiful. It reminds me of Gilligan's Island. I mean, as far as it's just beautiful. It's just, and they keep it. I've told you before, the islands are different than the rest. It's clean. It's poor, but it's clean. Now, the other place was right outside of Jinja, and I showed some pictures. I mean, it was poverty as bad as I've seen in Haiti. On the streets of India, the huts, I don't know how anybody can exist like that. And then right there is where I baptized. So really, I wasn't bothered about the animals that much, but there was a dark element right there at that shore that was. You could feel the darkness. You know, you could just sense the poverty, the sickness, and the darkness.
So the other thing was, I know Mike and Ruth have put a lot into now it's fading fast.
Oh, yeah. All the school stuff that we were talking about, mainly Felix's stuff and Peter's stuff up in Truro. It's incredible what now I'll say this, and they don't ever want their horn tooted, but this is an example. They give extra to their extra has literally changed 2 different villages, 2 different areas, just completely. We're talking a couple thousand here, there, whatever, over a period of a year. it changes. It changes their lives. It just, and I'm thinking that if I got one couple here that's doing that, if I get another couple here and another couple there, because listen, on the next to the last night, we drove back to Brother Samuel's hometown. And I really didn't want to go there. I was tired. I preached all day. I'd baptized, but I gave my word I'd go. And now I know why I got there. First of all, the preachers come from all the community. But on the way out, there was this little church that they'd started, Brother Mike. And it reminded me of Felix's church when we started. Just as, I took a picture of it. I don't think I'd let my dog Bear, Gunner, live in that place. And they're having church there. It was dark. And I know that I'm going to have to, by God's grace, we're going to build a church there. That'll be just like all the other places that we're like that. But if I can get another couple that takes the burden, and it doesn't have to be. Someone said, well, if they're giving there, they're not blessing your church. You don't know how God works.
Yeah, exactly.
Because when you're blessing here, just like what's going on outside, if you see what's going on outside, me and Brother Mike talked, that ain't what we originally planned, but God's upgrading this. And I believe the reason God's upgrading this at a price is because they give. We give. We're givers. God will always take care of the home church if we will bless others. Did
you get to go on a safari?
No.
Weren't you
There's
going
not
to?
really safaris in Uganda.
Weren't you going to try to go hunting or something?
That will be when I go to South Africa.
Oh, okay. I got mixed up. Okay.
Yeah, if that happens.
That was all.
Brother Dave's got a question, Brother Scott.
Brother Dave. What is going on?
So I got a kick out of seeing those guys carry
Oh,
CJ,
CJ and Juddy.
Juddy. My question is, did they have to draw straws of who was going to pick up Juddy off the boat and carry him?
So the boat that we took, can't get that close to the shore. Now that happened. They normally use wooden boats that can go right up to the shore and you can push off. But this was a medical boat that we had got. And the way that we went, we drove further to get to the boat. Normally I go right out of my hotel and get right on the boat. We didn't have enough money for that. Yeah, next time we're going to find the money. But you can't get to the shore. Well, when I got there, I was the first one off the boat, and they were reaching up, and I just took a jump, and I got one toe. Got a little bit of water. I sunk it, come right on there. And they were laughing. They said, yeah, preacher walk on water. He don't need nobody. Well, the next thing you know, they started carrying people. Okay, now Johnny ain't going to make that jump. Just ain't happening. Okay? Now, he'd already put on his water shoes for baptism later on, but he ain't making that. And I look, and I'm thinking about, because they're carrying people. Yeah. So they got CJ. You saw the picture of them carrying CJ into the, I'm like, wow. All right. And then when they got to Juddy, I don't think they've carried any. If you get a chance, go on my Facebook page, look for that day, and you'll see the video. It is worth seeing. As they were coming across there, that one big old boy was going. Now, I told you they didn't carry me, but on the way back, I didn't have no choice. They did carry me on the way back. And when I was like this, I just preached on Aaron and Hur holding up Moses' hands. I said, Lord, take care of these guys. I said, put me on the boat. But yeah, that was an experience. That was really cool. Yeah, that was really cool. But listen, they got Juddy on, got him off. Amen. Somebody else. Not really. Well, Andrew's been there. When Andrew first went, Listen, they said the same thing to Juddy that they did to Andrew. They call them fat boys. And Andrew will tell you when he first went, that hurt his feelings. You know, hey, we don't go around and say, hey, you're a fat boy, at least not to someone's face, but they were going, fat boy, fat boy. And their terminology for fat boy means big. Not necessarily, you know, Porky Pig big, but you know, but yeah, they don't see many. But now Pastor Andrew, who has come here, he's gotten to be American blessed. But there are not very many of them, and you have never seen anybody eat like them. We buy this food, we fed probably, I don't know, 1,000 plus, made of meals and stuff. And CJ will tell you, Felix's plate, Felix ain't much bigger than, let's see. Nah, he ain't. Look up there. But Felix is just I will say McKenna, but even shorter than McKenna. He eats enough. He eats that food. I bet you he eats 5 pounds of food.
I want to see him carry Andrew.
Here we go. If you ain't seen it, this is your chance.
Hey, bro, thank you.
All right, keep it going, because the next one I think is Brother Andrew.
Your time is come out.
Now watch this. This is Musamba. But notice you ain't got me up there. But we had a lot of things. Somebody else got questions?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got 2.
Yeah.
Peter, that you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
That ain't the same Peter that comes here and stayed downstairs.
No.
That's another. He's
We've got 2 Peters that come
Okay.
here, from South Africa and from Kenya.
okay.
This Peter is Felix's dad, and he ain't no bigger than a gumdrop.
Okay.
But man, powerful.
Second question. That's this lake you're talking about, where this island is.
Yeah.
Is that Lake Victoria?
Lake Victoria.
That's a big lake, ain't it?
It's one of the biggest in the world,
Yeah.
if not the biggest. It is,
Okay. That's where the Germans had to,
yeah,
in the
Bismarck.
the movie where they were down the African Queen.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That
Well,
was the lake
that's
that.
Nile. Where we stay
Yeah.
at our hotel is called the mouth of the Nile, which Lake Victoria feeds the Nile River. When you were asking about crocodiles, right where we stayed, it is possible that they would come up, and they have been seen. I saw a crocodile there once. But in the lake, not so much. It would be extreme rarity. It would be like maybe a Florida python when they end up in New York or something like that. It's just not very often that something. But that don't mean it couldn't happen. But they don't happen very often. But Lake Victoria is just beautiful. Huh? I think I don't know. I believe it does border another country on the other side, but I'm not sure, but it might be all Uganda. It's not all Uganda. But what's it, Rwanda? What's it saying? Congo? Yeah, on the opposite. Uganda does engulf most of it. Or the airport we fly out of in Entebbe, that was something. God gave us grace. Now listen, this is how God rewards you. So on the last night, I knew that, I'm telling you, if you come with us, it's a minimal 10-hour day. Some of our days are 14 hours. You walk, your heat, just the ride alone beats the snot out of you. I mean, you're bouncing around. It's grueling. And so on the last night, and y'all can look at me bad if you want, but I said, because I know coming back, I had a 17-hour flight time, not counting the 5-hour layover time. Okay? And so I said to Richard, I said, the hotel that we normally stay in by the airport, It's not a flea biscuit hotel, but it's just a couple steps up. They don't have no air conditioning. Did get a shower. And I told Richard, I said, if you can get me a hotel with air conditioning. Well, anyway, we show up at this hotel, and I walk into it, and I'm like, this ain't happening. The first one. And they wanted $400 a night. Well, we had already discussed with Richard and the driver, they were going to stay, and then the next day take us, because we had a long layover, take us to the airport and everything, and maybe go out to eat and everything like that. So I was going to need 2 rooms. And he said, well, we were in the wrong place. Go across, and it was an apartment. Now, I'm not exaggerating. We walk into that apartment, and you would have thought that we were at the Ritz. So Juddy had his own room with a king-size bed. I had my own room with a king-size bed, with our own showers in the room. Pastor Richard and the other pastor, they had 2 beds, king-size. And then CJ had the whole apartment. We had a big old couch, TV, everything like that. Air conditioning set. The beds were just as nice as in. Now, the beds I stayed on all week, like laying on concrete. And God helped me with that. I took a little blanket along with me this time. I took blankets from the hotel and put them on top. So I had that many blankets that I was sleeping on top of the bed. But this one here, man, that was nice. I mean, I got in there. So you talking about nice night's rest. Well, I got up the next morning and walked into the shower. I am not exaggerating. Best shower I've ever had in my life. It was one of those waterfall showers. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? Rainfall. Oh, my goodness. I mean, but I didn't tell you the price. So we ended up getting it for like $250. But it was, so if I got 2 rooms at $125 pieces, which I would have normally paid, I got this. You know, it's just like God just smiling on me. Just smiling. And but now a 20-hour trip, no matter how good it is, it's still grueling. And when we got to Entebbe Airport, the immigration line was the longest I've ever stood in, and it was so hot that we were soaking wet. And so when we got in the van today, when Andrew said y'all stink, I knew where it came from because we done sweated our clothes on the first part of our journey. And listen, when you sweat like that, of course I didn't stink, it was them 2 that stunk. But anyway, anybody else? Questions? We'll talk about it maybe a little bit more, but it was your money that you give was just incredible. What God, I'm amazed. I told Juddy this. I said, you're going to see something. And if anybody goes with me, they know it to be true. I cannot explain to you what happens to me the moment I step on foreign soil, but I am not the same person. What God gets out of me, I don't have an explanation for it. I don't understand it, and I know that whenever I go, and it don't matter where I go. And so that's the reason when I go that God I'm amazed. And I will tell you this, there is no doubt in my mind. It's 100% God, because I'm not capable. And I told Juddy this, I said, you can't get good enough. You can't study enough. You can't pray enough. You can't. And we need to pray. We need to study. Please understand what I'm saying. But you can't get good enough. You just got to let God use you. Amen? All right, let's everyone stand. And I do, from the bottom of my heart, appreciate everybody that baked a pie or gave $1 or gave $1,000, whatever it was. I'm amazed. That was another thing. Y'all remember the first trip that we went on? Sold all them candles. We sold 10,000 candles. It got made like $3,000. This little church, it's amazing. How we've come, it's just